Hey everybody, how's it going? And welcome to something a little different on Dan and Frankie Go to Hollywood. My name is Dan,
And I'm Frankie.
and what are we doing? What crazy shenanigans have you roped me into this morning?
Hardly. No,
Oh,
I
it's
just
crazy.
I follow a guy on YouTube called Nathan Jones, and he
Ah,
did a video recently on what are your Letterboxd four favorites and what they say about you. And so I
mm,
watched his video. His YouTube channel is Film Journeys with Nathan Jones.
hmm.
So go check it out. And
Okay.
I thought it was interesting, and I thought it would be fun for us to talk about our four
Mm.
Letterboxd favorites
It
and
would
how we
be.
picked them and what they say about us.
Yeah,
Because I know
because
that we've
we
picked things a bit differently on how we have chosen our four.
Yeah, we sort of have a bit of a different kind of a thing going into this because
Mm.
my favorite four films are just locked in because God, how long ago? I think that's around the time I started my YouTube channel in 2016, where someone said to me, "Oh, you should do a video on your top 10 favorite movies." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I thought, wait a minute. I've seen like 6 billion movies and I've liked roughly 4 billion of those. So how do I do this? And so I sat down. There was one film in particular that was just a no-brainer for me. So that was fine. But then, yeah, it was kind of like it was a really interesting little exercise because I was just going through like films that I really love and thinking, okay, like, you know, and I ranked them all as well, and I kind of thought like, okay, do I love this film more than this film? And is this film worthy of being top 10? And like I deliberated on it for quite a while. I think it was about 7 minutes. And no, it's longer than that. And yeah, I actually came up with a list of my 10 like yeah, they're not just favorite movies, but they're movies that, had a real effect on me. Um,
Well, I
and so,
think that's a common thing in favorites, and that's why
hmm,
favorites is separate from best. Like
hmm,
you might have movies that you think, oh, these are the best movies I've seen, but then you have other movies that are your favorites because of the
yeah, that's very
feelings.
true.
Mm.
Yeah. And over time, like, I mean, what has it been, 9 years now? Holy shit. I, have often thought to myself, like movies come along that I'm like, oh my God, I loved that movie so passionately. Like, is it worthy of being in the top 10? And like Avengers Endgame, that was one that, when that movie came along, sorry, no, Infinity War, sorry. Yeah, like that movie to me was just, it just had everything I love about movies in it. And including like a downer ending and all this sort of stuff. And like that's hovered around there ever since that movie came out. So yeah, there's been a few movies that I've
The thing
contemplated.
I find is I'm really bad at making decisions, and so
Mm,
the idea of a ranked list is too much. But
yeah, no,
also,
that's fair
I
enough.
feel like because yeah, when you've seen so many movies, how can you pick just one that's your favorite? I do
Oh,
have
easy.
one that I use for that. But
Mm,
the thing is, there's so many different kinds of movies, and it can be hard to sort of put them against each other to say which one do I like more because they're so
mm,
different. Then there's also nostalgia which plays a big, for me, plays a big part in movies. And that's why
mm,
I think I made a list on Letterboxd of my favorite 30 movies,
mm.
in no particular order. And I think a lot of them are from the 90s because that was my teenage years. And I feel
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
lot of movies just sort of hit harder at that time and the experiences with them. Same with music too, and like
Mm,
certain albums that you just remember where you were when you were listening to it. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, in that way it's hard. My Letterboxd top four is basically two. There was one that I always had. Now there's two because of a movie I saw, I think last year for the first time.
Mm,
Those two are locked in, but I like to sort of play with the other two because
mm.
I like to mix things up a bit sometimes and not
Yeah,
just keep
yeah, no,
everything the same all the time.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. See, I'm like I totally respect that, but yeah, I'm a bit different. I really love just having four movies that define me in a way, and
Mm.
yeah, it makes it easy, as we were talking about the other day, when people say, oh, what's your favorite movie? And I'm like, well, how long you got? Because I got 10. And yeah, it just I don't
But
know.
that's the thing. I know I've seen people that change their favorites every month and have
Mm,
themes, and I've seen people that will just have their like top four of the year
hmm.
currently. And so there's all sorts of different things. So mine's kind
Oh
of a
yeah.
mix of all those things. Like I have my
Yeah, yeah.
two that are my favorites, and yeah, then I swap the other two around based on just a movie I'm feeling at the time or a movie I've
Hmm.
discovered. One of mine, I just discovered it this year. And so,
Hmm.
yeah. So, should we sort of announce our movies first before we get into the
Yeah, that's
details?
that's
Or do we just want
I
to,
don't know.
I don't know, because we've got
Part of me
it.
is like, some people listening to this, might sort of like get to that me. Okay, that's their four favorites. All right, I'm going to go off and do the grocery shopping now. Or if we, leave people hanging and just go through one at a time, people might be like, "Oh, that's an interesting choice. I wonder what they're going to
Yeah.
pick next." I reckon
Apart
we'll
from
keep it a
everyone who knows
secret.
your top 10 list.
Yeah. Yes, the three people who watched that video, yeah, spoiler alert. Um,
Okay. All right. Let's go. I will do my two
mhm.
favorites first, since you're going to be
Okay.
doing your two all-time favorites first, and then I'll do my other two
Oh,
later.
I was going to go 4, 3, 2, 1. I was going to
Oh,
go
that
in,
other way? Okay,
Oh
well that's
yeah.
fine. I will do mine last then, and I
Yeah.
will do my two what I have for now first. All
All
right,
right.
do
Go
you
for it.
wanna you want me to kick off? Okay, my
Yeah.
first one is one that I was happy to pull things off my shelf to hold up for people
Hmm.
watching the video, but this one I don't actually own physically because I had to basically. Oh, I will announce the film first. It's Prisoners, which
Hmm.
was my fun discovery of was it last year? I think it
I've got a
was.
feeling it was the
Was it the
year
year before?
before
I
that.
can't do time now. Anyway, basically,
Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast, and
Oh,
they
actually, sorry, no, it must have been last year
last
because
year.
we started our podcast in January of last year and we did an episode on prisoners. So it
It's the
must have
only
been last
thing.
year.
Oh, I suppose it's coming up to 2 years. Okay, yeah. So
I know.
they were doing talking about their discoveries of the year, and they were talking about Prisoners, which I actually did not know this movie, and they made it sound really good, very sort of dark and disturbing story with a really intense performance from Hugh Jackman. So I was like, oh, I'm curious about that. So I watched
Hmm.
it, and it was one of those movies that happens every now and then where it's just like instant 5 stars. This movie is
Mm.
absolutely amazing. So I
Hmm.
raved about it so much that you watched it and then
Yeah,
you
well,
loved
after
it.
a bit of confusion,
Well, yes.
because you were going on about like how amazing Prisoners was, and I was like, really? That cheesy action movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone? For some reason, my brain went there. I can't even remember what that movie is actually called now.
That's Escape Plan, isn't it?
Escape Plan, oh yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. For some reason, yeah, I thought that was Prisoners, and you're just like, oh my God, this movie is like so mind-blowingly amazing, and it's intense, and the story is incredible, and the acting, and I'm like, what? What the fuck? Like Schwarzenegger, Stallone, like okay, and I actually thought you'd gone slightly insane. And until yeah, later because we went with this for a while, and then later on, like finally it clicked to me. I was like, oh, that's Prisoners, not that. Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, I think probably when I talked about it in detail and was like, Hugh
Yeah,
Jackman,
yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal, and you're like, what?
Like what they were co-starring in the film, like, yeah.
Yeah, and
So
so you liked it so much that we did a little bonus episode on it, and
we
so
did.
I had rented it, and so I ended up just buying the 4K digital version
Hmm.
so I could watch it again for that episode. That I
Yeah.
had so many notes on that episode. I've never been so prepared for an episode before
Yeah,
or
yeah.
since. And I'm hoping that it'll get a 4K release because of course, then, we've had Dune and Dune Part 2, and I'm just like, old
Mm.
movies, they're going back. So I'm like, surely
Mm.
they're going to get to that one. So,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
I don't have the physical copy, but that's, yeah, a film about two girls being abducted, and Hugh Jackman is the dad of one of them and thinks he knows who did it and is sort of taking care of things himself because
Mm.
he's doesn't think the police are doing enough. Jake Gyllenhaal is the detective, Detective
Mm-hmm.
Loki, who
Mm-hmm.
is one of my favorite all-time movie characters. And I love that you don't get his backstory. He's a really interesting character and you're really curious about, and there's a couple of like things thrown in that
Mm-hmm.
sort of hint at his past, but you never find out.
Mm.
So I just think that's a really intriguing character. And yeah, the whole movie, like it is very dark, but
Mm.
I'm okay with dark movies. So I
Yeah, yeah, of
actually
course.
was, I'm like so ready to watch it again whenever. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's on
And
my,
let's not leave out Paul Dano in this film with his performance as the guy that uh, Hugh Jackman suspects has done it and stuff like. He was just so great in this film.
and David Dastmalchian as the weirdo.
David Dalmatian, yeah,
Yeah.
also amazing. Yeah, everyone in this film, and it was actually good. This film actually offered a bit of redemption in a way because after I married Kylie, we were then going through our movie collections together, and she's showing me all these things like a 50 Shades of Grey deluxe super box set that and everything. I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like I married you before I knew you had things like that. So we're going through it, but then she shows me she's got the Blu-ray of Prisoners, and I'm like, you know what? You, all is forgiven. Like you can have 60 Shades of Grey for all I care, and yeah, that more than makes up for it. So yeah, so yeah,
Mm.
that
So
was that was pretty good.
that's my first one. That's one of
All
my,
right,
it's just there for the
so.
moment because I have
Mhm.
some top ones.
So, what does that movie say about you? Like, because,
Well, I wasn't going to get really specific about that, but I like dark things. I'm a
yep.
dark person.
Hmm.
Um, I
Which you'd never know from your sunny disposition.
so dark inside. Um, I am really into performances in movies.
Hmm.
Like, there's some really interesting. Oh, I don't know. I can't. There's some really good characters in this. I like Jake Gyllenhaal. This is the movie that got me like fully into him
Hmm.
because of his performance in this. Also, he looks really hot, so that helps. And he's just
There it
playing him,
is.
and he's playing a bit of a weirdo. I do like a bit of
Exactly.
characters that are
Yeah,
a bit
yeah,
weird.
yeah.
So
Hmm. There you go.
yeah.
See? There are plenty of answers.
Okay. Don't know how good they are, but anyway, yes, highly recommend that movie. But
Yeah.
just be warned if you're sensitive, that is pretty
Mm.
dark.
Hmm. Yep. All right. So my number four in my top 10 favorite movies of all time, is a little action movie that came out in 1988 that I don't know if too many people heard about it. It's a movie called Die Hard, starring that guy from Moonlighting. Uh, no, so back in '88, I remember my sister used to take me to the movies a lot, and this movie came out, and I didn't know that much about it because obviously this is way before the internet. This is, you know, yeah, she wanted to see it. I was like, yeah, okay, like sounds good. So went along and saw it, and it hit me that hard, no pun intended, that I still remember how I felt watching it that very first time, as a 15-year-old. Um, it it just to me that was the definitive action movie. I love so much that it was just, the hero in the story is not is not Schwarzenegger or, some like gigantic brick shithouse guy with machine gun, like, helicopter-sized machine guns and stuff like that. He's just sort of like a very ordinary person in a, perilous situation who's got to use his brain to outwit, this uh, group of international terrorists and stuff, and masterminded by an amazing performance by Alan Rickman, who, if memory serves me correctly, I think this was like his first major role. Like this, he didn't start acting till late in his life, and yeah, like what a way to come onto the scene, you know. I love the confined setting, just like inside a building, and I love how, the that setting kind of has its own set of dangers, like the height and everything. Like there's a lot of obstacles that it provides to the hero in trying to save the day. So many memorable characters, everything from Argyle, the limo driver, to was it Ellis, the sleazy co-worker guy?
Mm.
A whole bunch of the terrorists themselves. Like the guy played by what's his name? I should be really bringing this stuff up. The guy who was a ballet dancer, who's got a Russian name. Oh, I should have looked up this beforehand. Um, yeah, this like, was it Alexander Goodenough? Yeah, Alexander Goodenough. That's right. He was good enough. Reginald Vell Johnson as Sergeant Powell. Just so many memorable characters in this. It was just such a
I
brilliant,
actually
brilliant film.
just rewatched it yesterday.
Oh, wow, cool.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, what? 3.5 stars?
Yeah,
Is
I'm
that?
sorry. I like it, but
Oh.
I don't. I'm one of the weirdos that doesn't give it 5 stars.
Oh, wow. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, listening to this podcast, you have now stumbled upon some controversy here. Because I am now questioning our friendship. Um, and of course, it kicked off the debate of whether or not it is a Christmas movie, which
Which,
uh,
after watching it again, like there's so much Christmas in that movie.
so much Christmas. Look, 20th Century Fox have gone on record as saying yes, it is a Christmas movie. There is even a children's book that my buddy JM bought for me that it's like a telling of the Die Hard story, but in like a Christmas children's book format. And it really focuses on all the Christmas stuff in it. So yeah, but yeah, look, to me, yeah, it is just the definitive action movie. Just it has everything that an action movie should have. Memorable dialogue as well. Yeah, just I just love this movie so freaking much. And I think as far as what it says about me, I think it's mostly the idea of the lone hero. Because I am a sort of, very self-sufficient sort of a person, when it comes to life. I like to, I'm one of these people that's like, if you want the job done properly, do it yourself, that sort of thing. And yeah, I just think that kind of thing really appeals to me in a big way. So yeah, that's what I'm throwing in as far as, why this movie is my jam. Cool.
Okay.
What do you got next?
My next one is a more recent one. I just discovered this movie this year. I
Hmm.
have seen it 4 times
Oh,
already.
wow.
It's Sea of Love.
Of course. I knew
Um,
Pacino was going to come into this at some point.
yes, this is not the best Pacino movie, and it's not the best Pacino performance.
That's
Um,
Jack and Jill.
that's Dog Day Afternoon.
Oh, right.
Um,
Yeah.
I love this movie. It's so fun, and it's just, yeah, I don't know. It's just an overlooked one, I think. I didn't really know this one either until I
Mm.
was going through the filmography, but
Mm.
yeah, it's a good Pacino's a cop, and um he teams up with John Goodman.
Mm.
I wish they'd done like a full-on buddy cop movie because that was so good. together.
Yeah.
And they realize they're from different precincts, but they realize that they're after the same killer, and they suspect it's a woman who's been replying to newspaper ads.
Mm.
Um, and or the guys have been replying to her ads or something. But basically, people are getting together from newspaper ads, and then the men end up dead. And so
Mm.
they have this sort of undercover thing to try and find out who it is. And then Ellen Barkin turns up, and she is one of the suspects, but she um, eludes their trick of having a drink so they can get fingerprints. And so they don't know. And then Pacino ends up meeting her randomly on the street, and they things get romantic, and then
Mm.
he doesn't know if she's the killer or not. So
Mm. And neither
it's
do we.
yeah, it's a
I
pretty
mean, well,
sort
we
of
do because we've seen it well,
it
four
would
times in your case. Yeah.
yes. So yeah, it's just like a fun sort of sexy thriller movie,
Hmm.
and I love it. So that's currently, I thought I would just put a Pacino on there, and I thought I'd do
Hmm.
this one because it's fun and lesser known. So of his films.
And
So.
and it relates to you because your life in general is fun, sexy, and thrilling. Is
This maybe because it's not.
Oh,
No,
come on.
th
It's
this
fun.
does have one of my favorite romantic scenes in it. So, you know,
I
that's
know, I know.
yeah.
That actually speaks a lot about you. So yeah, anyone who's seen the film, you know what we're talking about. And yeah.
I do love that
Yeah.
scene. But also Pacino and Alan Barkin are really great together in this
Oh
movie.
yeah, no, there's no
She's got
doubt.
that ultimate like look of that time, like late 80s
Mm.
going into early 90s of like the bleach blonde big hair and red lipstick,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Yeah,
looks really
yeah.
cool. So
Yeah, so at the time, like I had not I had no recollection if I'd actually seen it before. And so I watched it and I there were moments I was like, I think I've seen it, but I'm just not sure. But in the end, I don't think I had seen it before. But either way, I loved it so much. I bought the Blu-ray like
mm.
instantly. I'm pretty sure I was on eBay ordering a copy of it like as the credits were rolling. Um,
Yeah,
it
it's a
was
fun
that
movie,
good.
and even though like obviously you know everything after the first watch, I still
Mm.
find it really fun to watch because it's a movie that's more about their relationship than who is the killer, what's going on. So even though
Yeah,
the whole
yeah.
time they're sort of doing the is she the killer or not, it's like
Mm.
who cares, just having fun watching them. And the suspense and the comedy of some of the situations because, you know, she
Yeah.
could be the killer.
Yeah, exactly. And the payoff is amazing. Like I
Mm.
thought the payoff was really, really good at the end. But not only that, it's worth it just to watch Al Pacino playing an alcoholic, disheveled, you know, cop who's down on his luck and everything. Like, I mean, that's just perfect casting, with that gruff voice and that sort of, weathered appearance and everything. Like, yeah, he just absolutely owned that role. Um, so yeah.
Mm. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Um, all right. So my third pick, and th this was actually the toughest choice I had in this list, as far as like my second and third spot, because these like the two films I have such an equal love for. But I wound up with this one in number three, and that is The Crow from 1994. Um, when that film came out, I just started working at a cinema the year before, and so like I was just kind of like seeing everything because when you got free movie privileges, oh my God, you see everything. And so this movie came out. I didn't know too much about it, and I thought, okay, like I'll give it a look, and it was such a truly emotional experience for me. Like, yeah, I can't get through this movie with dry eyes. Uh, Oh, hang on. Oh, sorry. Yep, just had a message from Nobbins. Um, yeah, it to me is my favorite love story ever committed to film. I mean, it doesn't get more romantic than coming back from the dead to avenge the murder of the woman that you love. Like, I love the supernatural element. I love uh, the whole sort of comic book angle. Like, it really did have a comic book feel to it. Like, it was, I mean, some people sort of pigeonhole it in the superhero category, which
Mm,
I personally wouldn't,
no.
but like Brandon Lee, oh God, his performance in this film, like that character just had so much heart. He just came across as like the nicest guy you could ever meet, just in terms of his look, his soft-spoken performs like when he's having just dialogue with various characters and stuff. But just the tone of the film, like it is a masterclass in tone. um and I'm talking about like when everything comes together, like the visual look of it, the sort of graininess of the picture, the score by Graham Revell was out of this world. And yeah, the production design, the sort of, desaturated color palette and everything, like yeah, just so much of it gives it kind of this bleak sort of a look. The villain Top Dollar played by guy with a really deep, gruff voice. Oh fuck. Oh yeah, I'm just terrible. Hang on, Michael Wincott. There you go.
Yeah,
Um,
he was
yeah,
great.
he was amazing. He was just so intimidating. He yeah was kind of completely off his tree. But yeah, I love that, he was sort of the leader of a crime syndicate as well. So you just sort of had like I mean, they could have done like a real sort of fantasy thing in there, but no, it was a very grounded sort of, crime organization and stuff. And yeah, again, like a lot of memorable characters, memorable dialogue, and arguably the best soundtrack album that came out of the 90s. Yeah, I mean, it's at least easily top five. So yeah, everything about this movie I completely and utterly love. Um, I've noticed on Letterboxd you have not given it a. Oh, Nobbins only gave it 3 stars.
Did I not give it a rating? Because
You
I
did not give it a
rewatched
rating.
it. Oh, I rewatched it a while ago because then I rewatched Crow City of Angels because I hadn't
Hmm.
seen that since the 90s or roundabout.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. But anyway,
well,
uh,
it's again, it's not a five-star film for me, but I do really love it. It's one of the biggest films of the 90s.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, I had a poster on the wall of the like crow outline and fire. I
Hmm.
had that on my wall. I have got the CD soundtrack. Thought it was the coolest thing because obviously in my teens I had my goth phase, so I'm just like, this is like everything, the aesthetic, so good.
Hmm. Because you're so
Um,
dark.
yeah, and yeah, do not watch the recent one, I would
Hmm.
say because
Yeah,
that is
I
the
still
the
haven't.
like I have a like because I don't hold a great love for the original one. So
Hmm.
I was like, yeah, whatever. I'll just go in with an open mind. I'm not anti remakes as a rule,
Hmm.
so I'll see what they is Bill Skarsgård. So I'd get to it
Hmm.
eventually anyway. But that was I had low expectations, and it was like way, way lower than I
Wow.
expect. It was one of the worst movies ever, and it
Yeah.
completely did not like work with the story
Yeah.
at all. I
Um.
mean, the love story, they knew each other for like a couple of days or something. And there's just stuff that didn't make sense for the story.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I don't think it's even worth watching just to see how bad it is. I think it's better
Oh
that
no,
you
I
just
will
don't
be
see
doing that.
it. Well,
I will
yeah,
be at some point.
I really was so tempted to turn it off, but I'm like, no, I need to finish it, so it's done, and I
Yeah.
can tick it off the list of Bill Skarsgård, and I just don't. But I can't believe, I could not believe how bad it was.
Yeah. And not only that, yeah, as far as the nostalgia with this film, I mean, it came out at a time when, comic books were really big. Trading cards, in the 90s was a
Mm.
huge thing. Um, and I had just recently at that time become really good friends with a guy who ran a comic book shop right near where I worked. And so oh, I got everything to do
Mm.
with this movie. I got the republished graphic novel of the film. I think I ended up getting the entire set of trading cards, just anything I could get my hands on. Yeah, and so yeah, so there was that sort of nostalgia element there for me. Um, but yeah, I think in terms of what this movie says about me, it's pretty obvious. Like, I mean, I'm quite a romantic person, and like I said, this is just my favorite love story. I'm like you. I love exploring darker stuff in films. Not well, actually, not like you because I am not really a dark person, and so I like to, you know, get right into to put balance in my life, Um, and three, the music angle, I mean, yeah, as a musician, like this movie was just like it was one of the greatest hour and a half music videos I'd ever seen. So yeah, there's a lot of things that I just absolutely love about that film. And I don't know, maybe like there's part of me that wishes I'd gone through a goth stage. I did get to dress up as Eric Draven. Well, no, actually, no, whoever the crow was in the second one, because um, I remember like after this film came out, it was such a massive deal to me. The cinema that I worked at, we used to often do costume promotions. And so when City of Angels came out, I was like, oh my God, can I please dress up in full costume and go around the mall like handing out flyers and stuff? And they're like, yeah, 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 do it. So, because I had a black trench coat, so I got dressed up in, like a tight black long sleeve shirt, tight black jeans. I actually even colored my hair at that point. Like I'd never done that before. Put the crow makeup on, everything. Anyway, I'm going around the shopping center. I'm like handing out flyers, and people are like, "Oh, is this movie any good?" I'm like, "Oh my God, you're gonna love it." I hadn't seen the film, obviously, and so I'm going around like handing all these flyers out on the morning like before it was released. And so I went back, washed the makeup off, and went and sat down for, the first screening and everything. And yeah, got through the film. I was like, oh, I just kind of wanted to go back out there and like grab all the flyers back off people and say, you know what?
Well,
There's better films out there.
that's why I
Uh,
rewatched this movie recently after not seeing it. Yeah, it
hmm,
was it was last year. After not seeing it since the 90s probably.
yeah, yeah.
And I like it. It's not as good as the first, but I don't think it's bad. I gave it three
Okay.
stars. And also, I probably listened even more to the soundtrack for City of
Hmm.
Angels than
Right,
the first
right.
because it had the new metal
Yeah,
influence
yeah.
and stuff, and the whole song was really good. That was
Hmm.
the cover of Gold Dust Woman, which is not streaming, so good thing I
Right,
still
right.
have my CD.
Yeah. I think at the time for me it was, uh, I mean, I was like, what, early 20s or whatever when City of Angels came out. So I had a very naive, worldview of films. And so to me, it was just simply a case of like, well, if it wasn't, if it didn't make me feel like the first one made me feel, then it's crap.
Yeah, it's
Maybe if I
definitely
watched it
different from the
again,
first one. Doesn't
oh yeah,
have
yeah.
that
Maybe
same thing.
if I rewatched it now, with a different set of eyes, I might appreciate it more. But yeah, at the time, I watched it, I was just like, oh my God, this is an absolute mess. I hate it. It's nothing like the first one. I think, yeah, because I kind of sat down, I just wanted the first film again, you know what I mean? Which is a
Hmm.
terrible way to go into a movie. Like, I mean, now
Especially
I
one like that, because
yeah,
you
yeah.
can't get the same thing again. It's one of
I
those
mean,
movies.
now I spend time criticizing people who think that way. So yeah, but yeah, that was me back then. So
Older and
yeah,
wiser.
exact. Well, Yeah, okay, let's go with that. Definitely older. But anyway, what's your number two?
Okay, well, this is probably a good segue into this one. Um, this is the my go-to movie if I'm ever meeting random people who ask me what my favorite movie is,
Hmm.
which is The Lost Boys, of course,
Of
because
course.
this movie, I still remember when I first watched this, I was 12. I was
Hmm.
at my friend's 13th birthday sleepover,
Hmm.
and we all watched The Lost Boys and Pet Cemetery.
Yep.
And birthday girl woke up with nightmares in the middle of the night. But we watched The Lost Boys because her older sister was in love with Jason Patrick. So,
Right, right.
thanks to her influence, I saw this
Hmm.
movie, and I just think it's so amazing. It's vampires, but it's fun. It's got that 80s-ness
Oh
that
yeah.
you just can't recreate. It's just of its time. And
Mm.
just the fashion everyone's wearing and the characters and the music.
Yeah.
Um, Tim Capello, just the like it's just really interesting that that just got put in the
Amazing.
movie. But yeah, I just think it's such a good time. It's a good sort of fun horror because you've got all
Hmm.
the vampire stuff, but it's mostly just sort of hanging out and having a good time. And this
Mm.
movie, I actually this well started an obsession with Kiefer Sutherland, and I actually phoned a secondhand bookstore in America to give them my credit card details to send me a copy of the paperback book that was
Hmm.
based on the original script.
Right,
So,
right.
which wasn't that different, but the character of Sam was quite different than how
Hmm.
he ends up in the movie. Movie version is better.
Right,
I
right.
don't remember. It's been a while since I read it, so I can't remember the
Mm.
other changes. But yeah, so that was one of my big things is because the store didn't have an online thing, and it was
Mm.
a while back. So like online shopping wasn't such a huge, there was no Amazon, eBay wasn't huge like
Mm.
now. So I was like, that's where to find it. But I had to call
Mm.
them. So I had to work out the time difference and everything. But yeah,
Mm.
so I'm quite happy to have that in my book collection.
Yeah.
And yeah, the cast is so great. I've watched this so many times. It's one of my most watched movies. And I'll be watching it again soon because I watch it every October. So um yeah, I don't know what to say. It's
Now,
a fun movie. I know a lot of
would
people are down
you,
on it, and I don't know why, because
yeah, yeah.
it's
Would
the
you
best.
say after, so of course, last night you watched Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter. Would you say now Lost Boys is your second favorite vampire movie of all time?
No.
Hmm, surprised. Um, well, I guess you kind of covered like what this movie says about you, like the sort of fun vibe, the coolness of it, the sort of 80s nostalgia. Like, yeah, I guess you kind of you pretty much covered that, didn't you?
I guess I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, fair enough. All
Just
right. Well, I'm gonna go on to my number two, which is number seven. Ha ha ha. Yeah, seven, as in the movie Seven. Oh wow. Um, yeah, so this movie was a pretty big deal when it came out. Like, obviously, Brad Pitt was just like the hottest thing in Hollywood. As in not just like in looks, but in terms of like his
Mm,
filmography, he was just like, a, a bankable star.
yeah.
Um,
That's actually what I was thinking of first, rather than his
Right,
looks.
right. So yeah, this movie came out, and my buddy Mark, at the time, like, we were both really big Brad Pitt fans, and so we thought, okay, yeah, let's go check this movie out. So, so we sat down, and it was like, okay, like, let's get into this. And then, of course, like, from the moment that terrifying opening credit sequence comes up with that um, version of Closer by Nine Inch Nails, which is just one of the most disturbing tunes ever created. Um, we were on edge, and then so the movie plays out. We get to the end when the credits are rolling down the screen, and we stuck around till the very end. I'll never forget it. It was the weirdest thing. We both got up, walked out of the cinema. like walked through the foyer, out the door, like, through the mall to the car park. We did not say a word to each other. We were we were kind of catatonic in a way, like mentally catatonic. Like it wasn't until we got into the car and actually started the car and everything that we like finally started talking to each other and stuff. And I've never had an experience like that in a cinema before. Like it rattled us to the core. To me, this is a horror film. I know it's not technically, in the sort of typical horror genre, but the fact that there's so much in this film that is just brutally disturbing. The fact that we never see the kills happen on screen, we see the aftermath of them, which to me is so much worse because, our brains go to like the darkest place, and that is genius filmmaking, not actually showing this stuff. I thought the reveal of the killer, which I'm not going to say just in case people,
Oh yeah.
don't want spoilers, that was absolutely freaking amazing at the time because nobody had any idea that he was in this film, and um, yeah, so that was like just such a huge surprise. And again, I sort of seem to really focus on or are drawn to films that are like, superb in tone. And this was another movie that like David Fincher
Mm.
really had this style, where everything was almost like a sepia tone, sort of had this brownness to it. And yeah, this film just had that in spades. It it was so dark in terms of the themes and everything. Like, yeah, just the whole idea of this, guy sort of killing people that he thought were guilty as far as like the seven deadly sins and everything, and then of course, the big twist ending and everything, which at the time was just, that is all that people were talking about. I'm so glad that I was able to be in a cinema environment at that time for these movies when they came out, and like getting to talk to people about it and everything as they're pouring out of the cinema and stuff like that. Like it was yeah, I'm really grateful that I got to do that. And yeah, I just think in terms of perfect films, to me, this is up there. Like there is no way I could fault anything with this film. I mean, even just down to, Brad Pitt's hair and goatee and stuff like it. Just the look of the character, like I mean, he was this sort of brash, naive, gung-ho detective going into it at the start, and by the end of it, he's just a destroyed shell of a man. But yeah, he just looked perfect. Morgan Freeman was the perfect counterpoint to his character. Yeah, just oh man, the love I have for this film cannot be quantified in words. Yeah, it's pretty good. That likes me a bit at the seven.
Mm.
And yeah, as far as what it says about me, like I said before, like I love to explore darker stuff in films to balance me out, and it doesn't get darker than this film. Like I mean, I must have seen this film at least 20 times through my life. Like I couldn't really think of how many it would be, but every single time it still gets to me, it still gets under my skin by the end. Like so yeah, for a movie to do that, that's some powerful stuff. So yeah.
Mm.
So there you go.
Oh.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right.
What do
So
you
my
got?
one that I have in first place, which is partially just because I like the backdrop on my Letterboxd profile. It's a really nice image, but it's Bergmeister Harmonies,
Right, which I
um,
still haven't seen.
which I just discovered last year, and it was my first
Hmm.
Bellatar movie. I was trying to remember how I found it. I think I was literally just scrolling Amazon sale and saw this and was like, oh, that looks interesting. What's that? And then I looked up the trailer and watched it, and the trailer was just like, I was like, okay, I have to see this movie. I am
Hmm.
purchasing this movie blind because I
Yep.
need to see it, and that's the only way I had to see it. And yeah, it paid off. It's quite like the trailer. It has music that is the most like haunting, heartbreaking, beautiful music you'll ever hear, and it's played a
Mm,
bit throughout. But this is slow cinema, which I've dabbled in with Tarkovsky. But
mm,
yeah, there's I can't remember how many shots are in this movie. It's a really low number because yeah, he does super like the opening scene I think is 12 minutes before the
right.
first cut. So and it's an amazing scene. It's a guy sort of describing an eclipse to some people in a like tavern type place and
Mm,
using them as props to explain an eclipse coming, and it's just mesmerizing. So
yeah, right.
this is obviously all about the visuals. It's black and white, and it's just really beautiful. It's kind of this. We're following this guy who is what's his name? Oh, the German guy that's in Run Lola Run as a bank teller.
Alexander Goodenough.
What's his name? That's gonna bug
I don't know,
me.
but I feel better now because I
Oh,
felt like I was
I have no
unprepared, but
memory for things.
yeah.
I thought I yeah, mind blanks. Lars Rudolph is the main
Ah, good
guy,
old Lars
and
Rudolph.
I really like him. I think he's a really interesting person, and so we're
Hmm.
following him. He's kind of a like delivery guy in this small, I don't know what they would call them there, like a village, like a little
Hmm.
town. And yes, village.
A
And
Berg.
a circus is coming to town, and one of their big things is a whale. And so this guy is really fascinated about this coming. But there's also a character called the Prince that is traveling with the circus that people are talking about. There's been like basically chaos following, and so
Hmm.
they're not happy about it coming to town. But yes, it's a very mesmerizing movie. It's one that instantly was 5 stars, instantly went on my favorite movies of all time list.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's one you just have to experience it. You can't really describe it because it's so much about just the visuals and taking things in. Like there's a lot of well, yeah, besides all the really long takes, like there's a scene that's just two characters walking down a street and the camera's just
Hmm.
following them and it just goes
Hmm.
on for so long.
Hmm.
And there's a little bit of conversation and then they're just walking and but you're just like gripping. Well,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
gripping,
right.
but like I was never bored watching it. I can
Yeah.
see that people could be. If you're
Hmm.
not the type of person that can watch this kind of cinema, then you're probably gonna just be super bored. But um, I'm the kind of person that can watch stuff like this. I
Mm.
really love visuals in movies, so I like art house and stuff. Style over
Hmm.
substance works for me, if it's done
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, this and so now I'm on a mission to watch all of Bellatar's movies. I bought the Curzon box set that has all of them,
Hmm.
and I've watched The Turin Horse. I really want to get to Satan Tango. That's his about 7 hour film.
Right.
So I'm waiting for the right time for
Hmm.
watching that, of course.
Hmm.
But yeah, I like overseas. They've had viewings in cinemas, and they usually give people a little certificate, like a celebration that you made it through the 7 hour movie.
Right, right. Yeah, no, I'm very, very keen to see it after everything you've said about it. I don't know if I'll have the same kind of reaction that you did. Because yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. So what would you say this movie says about you?
Well, I just said it. I'm
So
into visuals. I can deal with sort of
so some people might find you
stillness in
boring, but
films.
some people
Yes. Yep. Well, that works too. Yes, people.
no.
I no, I'm quiet, and so I think people just think I'm, an uninteresting person because I'm not really out there.
Well, that's their loss, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. All right. So coming down to my number one movie, the reason this is my most favorite movie of all time really plays a lot into the nostalgia element and what it did to me as a kid, which kind of sounds a little dirty, but anyway, show me on the doll where the movie touched you. No, um, why are we going there? I don't know. There are definitely better movie. I mean, if this movie didn't exist, Seven would be my favorite movie. But yeah, I've got to hand it to the original Star Wars as far as just everything. Um, I was a 4-year-old kid sitting in the back of my parents' car when we went along to the drive-in to see this movie, and it's if not the first memory of my childhood, it is definitely among the first memories. Like I can still, if I close my eyes, I can see myself sitting in the back of that car and that moment at the start of the film where Darth Vader first emerges on screen, like coming through that doorway of the corridor of Leia's ship. Um, and I remember my little tiny brain thinking to myself, wow, that's the coolest robot ever. Yeah, not having any idea that I was half right. Um, so, yeah, this. The, it was the perfect time for a 4-year-old kid to see this film, and especially when this movie changed the landscape of cinema. It was a juggernaut in terms of merchandising and stuff. This movie was everywhere. The toys were just the biggest thing for me as a kid. The Kenner series of action figures was like you know, I could have just like gotten rid of every other toy I owned and just had those, and I would have been happy. And even now, I mean, those figures. I've actually got like whole books of like vintage figure guides and stuff that I sometimes love looking through just to remind myself of like how awesome those toys were. Um, and I mean, even though like to me, Empire Strikes Back was a better film. I always just sort of go back to this one because this is where it all started, and in terms of how I relate to this film, I mean, it's bright, it's colorful, it's got such an imagination to it. It really kicked off. I always sort of think that this movie was what planted a seed in me as far as being a creative person, because as a kid, like I used to draw pictures of all the characters and things, it really sort of inspired that creative spark in me, So yeah, it was a really influential film. Um, and yeah, to this day, well, I'm not as big a Star Wars fan as I was years ago. Now that Disney has pretty much like just ruined it, because I used to love, back in the early 80s, we had the trilogy, the holy trilogy, as Kevin Smith calls it, like Star Wars, Empire, and Jedi. That was it. It was this contained story. There were hints at things that happened beforehand and stuff, and um, but I remember like when I was maybe like 12 or something, there was a local cinema, just this one screen cinema that played the whole trilogy during the day. And a friend of mine and we were allowed to go see it, like kind of, on our own sort of thing, which was like a really big deal at the time. It was like, oh my God, we can go see these films without parents. Wow. Um, and so yeah, it was like, we went through this whole thing where it was just those movies, and then in the early 90s, they started releasing more stuff. There was like Shadows of the Empire was a major thing, and they started bringing out more toys and everything, and all leading up to in 99 when we suddenly, had more Star Wars movies coming out, and it was sort of like, it's sort of, kind of felt a bit weird that, it was becoming a bigger thing. And now we've just got too many movies, too many TV shows, all of which, well, a lot of which are, questionable quality. There's another movie coming out next year. It's just, yeah, it really took away the magic, of just those three films. So, um,
Although at least they do still stand out as being different because they were made in
mm,
the 80s, so they have that sort of 80s feel that
oh,
just
totally,
keeps
yeah.
them like their own thing.
Yeah, and I'm not one of these people that's saying like, oh, Disney's ruined my childhood or whatever. fuck off. No, it's I can always go back to these three movies, although, even though it's hard to find the way that they were originally released, but there are ways to do it. So yeah, no, that first film is always going to have the biggest place in my heart as far as like, yeah, just my absolute favorite film. So yeah, there you go.
We just got a message from Nobbins. He saw
Yeah.
my Die Hard review from yesterday and said Letterboxd has auto-corrected 5 stars.
Yeah, that is so true. Autocorrect. I love that. Yeah, no, that's something that I'm always gonna kind of hold questionable about you now, but
It's
yeah,
all
that's all
right. I
right.
have questionable things you've done as well.
Oh yeah, name one.
Blood-sucking freaks.
Fuck. Okay, yeah, we're coming back to that. Uh, yeah, that's fair. Oh man, I should have changed my number
Mm,
one movie to Bloodsucking Freaks. Although, see, that movie transcends my top four. Like that
mm.
movie is too
Yeah,
good
we don't want
for
to talk
top
about that
four.
movie. We're talking about favorites. So
So
good
now we're going to
favorites.
spend the next
So
hour talking about Bloodsucking Freaks. So
no,
this was a little movie that came out in
no,
1976. No, okay.
we're done.
We're not really. No. All
Um,
right.
so yeah, that's it. So yeah, if you use Letterboxd, let us know what your 4 favorites are.
Yes,
Um,
if you're checking this out on YouTube, there is a comments section down below, so feel free
yes.
to type away and let us know what your four favorite movies are. If
Or
you
you can email us at danandfrankiepodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, and we're also all over social media. Just Google Dan and Frankie Go to Hollywood. We're on the Book of Faces. We are
Mm.
on the Twits. We are on the Sky That Is Blue. We're everywhere. We are ubiquitous. I
And
love that word.
I'll get Dan to
Oh,
post the video to the original YouTube video that Nathan
yeah, I can
did
do
in
that.
the episode description or
Yeah, that doesn't
YouTube
sound like too much
description,
work.
whatever. So yes, so
Yeah.
you can go watch his video as well and see what his 4 favorites were
Oh,
or
yeah, yeah,
are.
yeah.
So
Um,
yeah,
yeah, indeed. All right. Well, that was fun. Thank you
yeah.
for forcing me to do that. I really appreciate it. What?
Didn't force you to do it. I was like, hey, do you want to do this?
Yeah, but you know me, I'll say yes to anything.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
you get to talk about your 4 favorite movies. So
exactly. Yeah,
yeah,
nothing
and I
wrong with
think
that.
this went on a bit longer than I should have known.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, come on, this is us. All right. Well, in that case, we're going to get out of here for now. So, yeah, stay safe, watch lots of your favorite movies, and bye for now.